So we're just talking about some of these boats around here, completely naked. These guys that just walk on the deck of the boat completely with their junk hanging out. And we're trying to figure out what's the draw to that lifestyle. What were you saying about it?
They could be just enormously perverted. That's the reason why they like it. And I was saying, because like we used to go on holiday to France when we were kids, because like my parents had like a fold-out tent that was on a trailer at the back of the car, and like sometimes you used to pull into campsites, and they're nudist campsites, but they didn't advertise that when you go in. So like, I remember like you drive into this campsite and there's people walking around. They've got like a hat on, socks and shoes, but then they're completely naked elsewhere. It's like, surely the appeal of nudism must be you have to take your socks off at least. It's a faux pas in the bedroom, so it should be if you're, if you're a full-blown professional nudist.
But yeah, we're out here at this anchorage, right by, I looked on the map and it's called Besso Beach. Besso Beach here in Formentera. And beautiful. But yeah, we were just talking about some of these boats. I don't see any now that I can give you as an example, but maybe actually is that one over there? Let me zoom in, see what we can find. Yeah, I think that dude was just standing there stark naked. I can't zoom in too much, you can thank me later. Yeah, I'll spare you the close-up. Luckily my camera doesn't zoom in any more than that, but we were just debating about, not debating, but Andy and I were talking about what was the draw to sort of the nudist lifestyle. Is it kind of going back to the animal instinct where you want to be, we're the only species that actually wears clothing, so do you want to be more of the animal, back to nature, or is it more like you want to show off your junk, even though most of the times we see people, the guys we see, it's nothing to be showing off. Anyway, if you know the draw, I know there's some old school hippies out there watching this, so if you guys know the draw to the nudist thing, let me know, because we're kind of perplexed about this whole thing. But anyway, beautiful day out here. We're going to get underway shortly. We're actually going to move anchorages only about 45 minutes around the island, but we're going to go get some fuel first, just to fuel up for our big passage. We're going to be probably 2 more days here in Formentera, and then we are going to cross over to the Spanish mainland, and it actually takes about 36 to 40 hours crossing over to where we're going to go, but luckily normally it's pretty much downwind as long as you don't get a bad weather system, but we're looking at our weather and it looks like it's going to be the typical downwind sail when we leave in a couple of days.
So we're anchored up probably about 400 meters away from the gas station, which is over there inside the marina. The issue that we've got is that there is no waiting dock at the gas station, and there is basically a marina full of charter boats, motorboats, that are tanking up every time they either come in or out. So what we've got to do is plan our entrance in the marina, so we don't have to stay on the waiting dock, because there is these huge, massive, like 18-wheeler tyres that basically turn your hull black. We've got to time it, so we've got to hang outside. We've got to wait for the pier to open up where there's no motorboats on. Now the other thing we've got to consider is this is probably the most busiest port in Spain for ferries coming in and out of that port about every 10 minutes. So we've got to make sure that the pier is free. So we've got to hang out, probably check out with the binoculars from a distance to make sure that once we're in there we can get straight there. There's probably about 10 to 15 knots of wind as well, which isn't that great for hanging around in like a 34-foot boat. And then we've also got to keep an eye out for the ginormous ferries which are coming in and out of that same entrance, which is probably only about 200 metre wide. So yeah, there's a few obstacles we've got to bear in mind before we're about to get into this situation. So yeah, let's get it. I'm going to lift up the anchor at the front now. We've had the engine running for about 5 minutes warming up, so if we need to put any gas on like really quick and get the revs up, it's not going to do any damage to the engine. It's already going to be warm. Let's go for it. Let's hope we don't crash the boat.
Let's do it.
This is called a poor man's windlass. So it was a successful anchor lift. We're now going to challenge the marina and the ferries.
Just as we suspected, by the time we head over to the fuel dock, there's all kinds of activity. Boats are lined up for fuel, boats are moving in and out. It was pretty chaotic, so we decided a quick change of plans.
Yeah, he's hanging around there for sure. Yeah, we'll see if this guy's going to go in as well. If so, it might be better just going back to Ibiza.
So we were going into that fuel dock, and it was just tons of lineup there, and they actually told us it was going to be more than an hour of waiting. So we decided to go over to Ibiza.
Even though it's about 10 miles over to Ibiza, we actually wanted an excuse to get out on the water for a bit with the boat. So we cruised on over and enjoyed the sights along the way.
We had like an hour sail over here, so we're gonna get gas here at Ibiza, then just kind of cruise around and enjoy the day.
We drive into this spot next to that motorboat.
This is the fuel dock here, and we're trying to figure out where we can pull into the dock.
That's for fuel.
But that's pretty big on the end.
Yeah, that is.
Yeah? We'll circle. Yeah.
Now, so they finish.
We yell over that we're going to make a U-turn and circle back.
I'll just come in here and we'll just go behind them and wait.
I think we can fit it in.
Yeah.
These lines are pretty short. I wish I had a longer one in the front. Yep. Reverse. These fenders need to be down.
Para. Diesel.
Sí,
Only diesel.
sí.
Yeah. A ver que suena afuera.
What, sorry?
Close.
Oh, it's closed.
We wait here till 3.
Termina este. Close. Cambio de turno. El 3.
We stay here till 3.
No problem.
To the 3 aquí. Gracias.
You'll run into this a lot in Spain. They are, of course, closed for siesta time. They tell us we need to wait an hour for them to come back. Even though they're filling up the boat ahead of us, they still make us wait. Sometimes you just roll with it.
I think maybe take that up there.
Yeah.
Now tension this here.
I'm just wondering if I wait maybe till they leave or whatever.
I think they're staying till 3 o'clock.
Oh yeah. I think he said he was finishing this guy up.
Oh yeah?
We adjust the fenders and then we walk around the marina for about an hour.
Those are cool. Perfect. Gracias.
Nice one.
Cheers, mate. Bye. Adios.
There we go.
We have light winds, but it's a sailing boat. We need to sail.
Okay.
In sailing and in life, it often doesn't matter how slow you go. The important thing is to go. Take the first step, lay the first brick, unfurl the sail. Start the journey and make it count.
We picked a little speed.
Yeah.
yeah, we're just enjoying a beautiful sail all the way from Ibiza back to Formentera. And we're going to go to the west side of Formentera for anchorage. It's supposed to be beautiful. But how do you have the boat set up for sailing?
So right now it's kind of like we're in between a close haul beam reach and broad reach because I think we've got about 6 knots or something, and it's just kind of all over the place. So I think we're kind of set up for a beam reach, really doing about 4 knots on average, which is kind of nice. It's just a very chilled out sail. We've got like virtually no swell at all, apart from when the ferries come past, so it's really chilled. Got the full sails up, cruising along. I think we'll get there in about an hour. So the place where we're going is called Cala Saona, I think you pronounce it. So that is south of the main port area, which is just to our left now, or to our port, might be technically correct. And this is like the prettiest anchorage on Formentera, I suppose. It's got like crystal clear waters. I think you get like a really good hole in about 5 to 6 meters, something like that. There's a nice beach, there's a couple of restaurants, and yeah, it's a great place for the sunset also. So yeah, that's where we're headed. At some point today we'll arrive. Hopefully sooner. I think in about an hour, something like that, with the speed we're doing, we should get there. Awesome. That's really cool.
So Andy's playing with the new toy he got. What is it? DJI Osmo?
Yes, DJI Osmo Mini. No, DJI Osmo 2, I think it's called. There's the camera up there, which is like this really cool gimbal type of camera anyway. It's great for like video vlogging and stuff. So I've been told. And then yeah, you get this like super $100 selfie stick. pretty elaborate. And yeah, so you connect your phone via Wi-Fi. Cool one.
So coming in on our anchorage now, and we've been seeing a lot of these interesting, like I guess they're old lighthouses that no longer have the top portions, but they're kind of like ruins of lighthouses perhaps. Quite a few of them around the islands. But a pleasant day for sailing. Now we're just about quarter mile, half mile from the anchorage.
We're coming into Cala Saona. Cala means cove in Spanish. Now this is probably the most beautiful beach and cove on all the island. It's a popular place also, as you can see from all the boats. Not that we care, but I guess J-Lo was there the week before on a yacht, where she put up some Instagram shots, that kind of place. We put away the sails and get ready to anchor.
Scoping out the anchorage. I'll put this on my head so you guys can see what I'm doing. But that's what we're coming into with this wide angle GoPro. You probably can't see the extent of it, but goes on for a bit. There's a beach that's pretty crowded up there. But let's find a spot.
This will give you an idea of a very crowded anchorage. The goal here is to simply find an open spot. You don't want to be too close to others because you need some space to allow for swinging on the anchor. Now we plan to go in fairly close to shore to shallower water, which will mean less anchor chain and less swing room needed. This here is a fancy 80-foot catamaran called Grey One. You can charter it for a mere $65,000 per week. We'll talk more about it with Andy in a few minutes. Here we go, navigating to find a spot. You can see these boats are quite close together. There looks to be a little space ahead. A lot of these boats are just day charters that come for the day and then leave about this time, so it should be a good time for us. We might find someone leaving. Like this is a day party boat here. It's not clear what this gray power boat is doing, but we're going to go near there and check it out. There still appears to be some space about right here. Okay, getting ready. Okay. I put the bridle on, and then I'll dive down and see how it's set.
There we go.
All right, now gonna dive on the anchor and check the holding. Cool?
Yeah, let's go for it.
Let's do it. I tell Andy that we could use a little bit more chain out. He does that, and then we're all set for the night.
I am made to be free.
How's it feel?
Is it beer time?
Sure.
It is beer time.
Thank you, sir.
There you go. Yeah, so the catamaran, basically the massive, huge catamaran, the grey one, that was to the right of us when we're approaching, that's like a Sunreef 80. So it's a pretty exclusive type of thing. I think when we Googled it, it was worth like 2.5 or 3 million, something like that. So that is as far as I know, that is the only one that they've actually built and released. Now we were sailing towards Gibraltar, and that thing was sailing past us. That was like about maybe 3 or 4 months ago, something like that. And yeah, it was actually quite cool to see it then. So it's crazy inside. It's got like multiple dining rooms. It's unbelievable. It's really cool.
Hold on, we've got some new neighbors. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, so this anchorage is like really popular for watching the sunset. So like all along the coastline here, when we came here a couple of weeks ago, there was hundreds of people littered like all the way across this cliff edge here, just waiting to check this thing out, which is pretty sweet. And then just over here to the right, you've got what they call a chiringuito in Spanish, which I actually don't know the translation for, which is quite embarrassing. But it's usually the place where Spanish people get drunk. So that's what I know about it, and they serve seafood. So they've got like a little cute like chiringuito there, so everybody like goes and gets like a little mojito or a cocktail, and then they walk over to the edge of the cliff here and they check out the sunset.
So we're gonna try out the melon that this woman gave us from the little farm thing.
The bio melon. Looks good. Smells good.
That's very good.
Good melon.
Do you even know what it is? I don't even know what this type is.
Sweet melon? Or yellow melon?
It's not a common thing in the US.
No. Ibiza sent me it. It's called Santa Claus melon. That's what it's actually called.
Santa Claus melon. Have you ever heard of it? Never have.
So the Santa Claus melon, sometimes known as the Christmas melon or piel de sapo, is a variety of melon originating in Spain. Oh, so it's actually Spanish melon that grows to about a foot in length and is ovoid in shape. Never heard of ovoid before. Oval, but round. You've heard of that before. Oh, so it's actually Spanish melon. I didn't know that.
Thanks for watching. See you next week for more.